This is the Popcorn Heroes review of a Netflix show called Punisher Season 2. I am Armando. With me, as always, Pedro.
Hello, hello.
And back for the first time, Mike.
Hey.
All right, guys. Here's how we're going to break down this Netflix review of Punisher Season 2.
Okay.
We're going to give our ratings 1 out of 5. Extremely short thoughts about the show. Small plot summary. Very vague. And then we're going to jump straight into spoilers because the only way to talk about any show is to fucking get into it. There's too much stuff going on that we might as well just go ahead and talk about it.
Agreed.
So, Mike, start it off. 1 out of 5. Tell us what's up.
Damn, 1 out of 5? Down.
So Mike, here's a scale. 1, I didn't like it. No, 1, I hated it. 2, I didn't like it. 3, I liked it. 4, I really liked it. And 5, I loved it.
It probably gets a 3.2. Maybe like a 3.2.
Oh, you're getting into the Dewey Decimal System. All right.
I mean, overall, for the Netflix shows, I think it was one of the better shows. The season, I thought it started off pretty good, but then they had like a lot of characters who weren't really important, or they didn't really flesh them out, or just really didn't make any sense. John Bernthal is still phenomenal as fucking Punisher. I think he got better this season, if anything. I think it was like a more of a range of emotions for him this season. We got a lot better. But the other side characters, I really didn't like most of the characters on this season. But they stepped it up with the action, definitely by far. Way more action in this one, and just the action still not as good as like those Daredevil. So fucking good. But overall, it was good. Overall,
Yeah. Nothing beats those hallway scenes in Daredevil.
No, man. No way.
those fucking hallway scenes are amazing.
I give it a 3.5. And if I'm in a good mood, a 4. It just depends.
Are you in a good mood at the moment?
3.5. So,
I was like, this doesn't matter then.
So I give it a 3.5 because I believe the first half of the show was okay. The second half was great. For me, the second half of the show was probably like the best part of the show. There's certain plot lines I did not enjoy that we're going to get into right now. With the quote unquote villain of the season. John Bernthal was fucking awesome. So on point, dude. Like he cemented himself as the Punisher after this. I really see him as the Punisher. He created his own typical, like not typical, but his own version of this character, like emotional and angry and that.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So like that's his thing. That's his thing. That Thomas Jane didn't do that.
I'm not gonna lie. Every time he grunts, like I love his fucking the grunts. Just everything about that shit's so good.
In the fight scenes when he's like, just like that, it's like, yo, you are gonna die.
Exactly, right? You can feel that shit in your soul.
Like, you are fucking dead.
And so I really enjoyed that about him this season. Like he just made that character more himself, and it's unfortunate that we most likely would not see him again in that role. I think that role is literally for him, like because he has okay range, but this character was perfect for him in every sense of the word. Like it was just great. Like he could do the emotional strong man crying, like like the tough man crying, and it worked because he was the tough man crying, So and then when he was sad, when he was angry, when all that crap, he was on point on it. But yeah, other than that, like there's certain things I just didn't really enjoy for it. Pedro.
I'm also gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5. Mixed between like and really like, because there were certain parts. So I felt it started off really strong.
Oh, okay, so you're the opposite of how I felt.
Like pilot episode. I don't even think it's considered pilot.
The first episode.
First episode, fantastic start.
Yes.
And I agree with you guys. Nothing can beat him as Punisher right now. Bernthal, he's got it. And I like that this season focused on more Punisher Frank instead of Disney Frank, which I kept calling him for the last one. Too much, feels and shit. I just wanted to see more Punisher punishing, and we got to see that. So I was happy about that. There was a villain that I kind of liked the way they changed the character around. A certain route. I liked the way it started, but I wasn't feeling where it took off. It was kind of juggling these plot points, these 2 plot points. And I thought separately they were both good, but I guess in the second half they were trying to find a way to juggle both. And
Entwine them.
Yeah, and I felt that the
failed.
juggling part is where they dropped the ball. Like,
Yeah.
it was all good on paper, but I guess the smoothing out is where they kind of started losing it a little bit. But I agree, the fight scenes were better this season than it was last season. So there were more ups than downs for sure. But it was all about, it should have been smoother, I felt.
Definitely. Would you guys recommend it?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, if you've seen all the other ones, you might as well definitely see this one.
absolutely.
But as a standalone, as someone who doesn't know shit about this, would you recommend it to them?
Just the second season or the Punisher series? I'd
Just Punisher series.
series. It's the Punisher series is good. I'd recommend
Yeah.
it.
The Punisher series, sure, it piggybacks off of Daredevil season 2, but for someone that still hasn't seen it, it's still pretty good starting point. So yeah, season 2 as a starting point, hell no. But season 1 of Punisher as a starting point, absolutely. You could watch that and this one, and you'll be fine. Like, the stuff that you'll miss, you could just wiki it if you really want to.
Yeah. So for people who don't know what this season was about, who has seen season 1, don't know they want to get into it, what's a short synopsis about what the season was about?
Okay, so the ones that want to get into season 1 that haven't
just,
watched it
just
yet.
season 2, like
No,
season two.
but just a disclaimer.
Yeah.
The premise of season 2 is going to kind of spoil season 1. So if you're going to watch it, stop right now. Like right now. All right? All right,
Yeah.
no more warnings. So the premise of season 2, for the people that want to start season 2, it's pretty much the aftermath of the Jigsaw. I can't remember what his real name was right now.
Yeah, I remember. Just Jigsaw.
Billy Russo.
Billy, thank you.
Billy.
Thank you, Marvel fan.
Actually, I didn't know him before the Punisher. I had no idea about
Oh, okay.
Jigsaw.
But yeah, it's the aftermath of the whole Billy fiasco. So it ties in, it ties up that end, and it kind of starts bringing Punisher more into Punisher. Like, because the first season was still tied into Vengeance.
Damn.
This one is Vengeance is over. Now it's just what next? Like, what am I going to do? Or what's my role and whatnot?
Yeah.
So it's just situations putting him in where he's realizing who he is and what his job is, what his purpose is going to be now. So that's pretty much the gist of what season 2 kind of does.
And essentially accepting his fate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
All right, guys. That's it. You know, we're going to get into spoilers now.
Yes. So
So
if
if
you
you-
want to see season 2, stop.
Stop. If you've seen it, stick around.
Season 2 is recommended though.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Season 2, spoilers ahead. Punisher, season 2, spoilers ahead.
All right.
Spoilers. You've been warned. Spoilers.
Cool. Starting it off.
Yeah. All right. I want to start off with this then.
Okay.
I fucking hated how long the whole Billy memory loss plotline kept going on in the show. I detested it. It went on way too long, and he finally fucking realized what he did to the end, or like second to last episode of the show, of the season. I mean, I'm like, come on, dude, get the fuck out of here. You could have told him what he did wrong at the within the first 3-4 episodes, and have him just literally straight up beat Jigsaw after that. And I don't know, I think they overextended it. They lingered it way too long, and I hated it. That's one of the biggest things and one of the biggest reasons why I did not like this show.
I disagree with you.
I disagree.
I like that I didn't like Billy's, like the fact that he was just a villain in season 1 with no backstory. Like, he was just greedy to be greedy. What about all that brotherhood? It was kind of weird. So I didn't really like his characterization. Seeing him here kind of like reboot, like a reboot Billy, and kind of seeing how he used to be. I liked it. Like him with the memory loss, not remembering, because you get to see him like genuinely broken up. Like, yo, why is my buddy
My
trying
brother,
to hurt
like,
me?
what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, so it was kind of cool seeing that.
Yeah.
And-
Even though, like, you know it's him, he did it, but it's still, like...
he's like, why? Yeah, well, what could I have possibly done that would make him want to kill me? I would never do
Exactly.
anything to my brother. That was Billy before the corruption, which was pretty cool to see. Because I thought the corruption in season 1 was like really, I wouldn't even say rushed. It was just like blah. They just dropped
I
it
didn't
there.
really feel the brotherhood from those two in season 1.
It's true.
In season 2, like the way as hurt as he is, like damn, he really cared about fucking
Yeah.
Frank.
And then they show more of the flashbacks, like the initiation and all that shit. You're like, damn, these guys are
These
really.
guys are, yeah, they were really together like that.
Yeah, because you only see with Curtis. You only see it with Curtis with Punisher, but here you actually did see it with Billy. So I like that it took him long. It was after he realized
That's when they lost me. I'm the same exact way.
the fact that he's like, oh wow, I did all this. Well, fuck you then. It's like, whoa, no, man, that's not how you should react to this. There should be a different reaction. Like maybe hate yourself, try to like, I don't know, some other route than what it took.
Right? Damn, I know I killed your family, but you shouldn't have done this. What? That doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah, you should at least put me out of my misery. What? You killed his family, Billy. What the
You can't tell this man how to react.
So that was a weird reaction to that.
Yeah, it would have been better if he would have internalized. I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I fucked up. I can't believe I did this. I can't believe like I fucking did this to my best friend. Because in that, and again, the entire season he was just like, oh my best friend, and then he's like, well, fuck this, and like, come on, dude, that doesn't make sense. You're all about the brotherhood.
I thought he was gonna realize that no matter what, I thought he was gonna realize like there was no way for him to atone, so he just has to kill Frank before Frank can kill him because Frank's never gonna stop coming for him.
Yeah,
I thought
but
that's what was gonna happen.
But this was still the rage and the obsession, and I'm like, nah, why do you still have this?
So like, I didn't like that. And that's the reason why I didn't like his storyline. I think he would have just been better if they were just done that all within the first few episodes, and then made him just Jigsaw and like him just fucking wrecking people. And then he was such a force that, you know how the opposite forces, you know, need to clash to stop one. So I feel like they needed it since he was just a fucking wrecking the city. I think that would have been great for Punisher to come in and stop him at a moment, right? I just didn't like the whole on and on about his memory loss, and I was just like, dude, this is not a soap opera. Like I didn't want to deal with that shit, and it just annoyed me.
I didn't mind it because it was also juggling the other plot line, which was the hitman John Pilgrim, which I actually really liked this character.
That was pointless.
You thought so?
That was absolutely pointless. Like they never really went into Pilgrim that much. Like you pretty much had to figure shit out on. I mean, I guess on your own.
I mean, he was a white supremacist, and he got out stealing $1 million. He went to live in a fucking essentially an Amish almost type country.
They didn't properly justify his change from being a white supremacist to becoming a pilgrim. He just turned into a pilgrim.
Yeah, he pretty much just said, wow. Well, he kind of implied that he was indoctrinated into it. Like, from birth, he was born with, like, the white supremacy, you know, like, people telling you all around you, and then he saw another way of life. And then, of course, he saw religion. And then that changed his life.
It's an extreme, it's not like it's an extreme shift to go from being a neo-Nazi to a fucking pilgrim.
Yeah. It is a big change, but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, though.
And then I don't know, the couple or whatever that were in charge of this shadowy pilgrim. I don't even understand how like a pilgrim organization. It didn't make any sense to me. Like, how do they have that much power?
I mean, it's middle America, dude.
They were just like not faceless, but like generic villains, pretty much. The generic shadowy organization that we've seen 1,000 times before.
I think I felt that the Punisher, even the first season, it's always, because if you notice, Punisher in the comics, he fights like other enemies. Like he'll fight like Middle Eastern terrorists and shit like that, or like, you know, the IRA. Like it's always external. But I've noticed that this Punisher show has all been internal problems that America has. So you got like the PTSD soldiers and stuff like that. And then you have this, which is the middle America essentially like ruling America through like indoctrination, through like religion and shit like that. So I felt like it was more of trying to show, be careful, because, you know, you don't have to look too far away to see the enemy. It's all in here. So yeah, those characters, sure, the family, the parents, they're, I guess it's like an exaggeration of what happens here already. Especially, I felt like it was definitely jabs at like Trump and shit like that, because it was rich and powerful families, you know, they're trying to bring their kids into it and stuff like that. And yeah, man, it just felt very kind of political and looking at the mirror of the country, how it is now.
I just wish that plot line specifically would have been wrapped up faster, in a sense of like it went out throughout the entire season, like the whole like he was trying to find who they were and all this crap, and it just kept interfering with his other plot line.
Yeah.
So it was just like had his split mind, and it kept splitting the show. And it was forever splitting, split, and it was just like, come on, just stick to one, and then give me the next one. You know,
I agree with that. I would have liked this one in the first half, while sprinkling in the Billy forgetting shit, and in the second half go full blown Billy.
I thought because okay, I understood them splitting it, but I thought there was gonna be a much like more cohesive at the end of the season, that they were gonna come together in some way, shape, or form, but they barely, because even in the trailers they implied that like Billy and Pilgrim were going to be working together in some kind of fashion.
Oh yeah, I didn't see the trailers, but if
yeah,
they did, they definitely fucked up.
It wasn't close to what
they
the
didn't
trailers
even meet.
alluded to. Yeah, not at all. So yeah, I thought they were going to come together at some point, and then Frank was going to have to take them both down. But that shit, I don't know, it just didn't pan out.
You know what I was thinking right now? It would have been cool if they if somehow that rich family was involved with Russo in the beginning, and before he got killed by what's his name, Punisher, like in the sense of saying like we need to find a way to take care of our veterans, so join us and do this or whatever, because essentially Russo's whole thing before was that he was taking care of veterans, he was giving them mercenary work. So it would have been cool that whole deal came about because of this rich ass family, and it would have joined together in that sense that all this could have been started or had a genesis within that family, because they were so fucking powerful in a sense. I think that would have been a cool way to throw that in.
There's just no point in having two different plot lines that go on for that long if they're not going to come together at the end of the season.
I could agree with that, definitely. The first half with the Pilgrim, and then the second half with Billy would have been better, definitely.
Yeah.
Because them interrupting each other was really annoying for me, like you were saying, and
like some episodes you don't see like one side at all, and it's too messy to go back and forth like that.
Yeah, but it was even to the point of like, oh, Billy's on the run, I gotta go get him. Wait, I gotta hide this girl from this guy, and it's like,
it's juggling too much at once right now.
Yeah, it was.
That would have made sense if there would have been a full integration of it, like you mentioned, Mike. Like if that fully integrated, like, oh, that's why.
That's why I've been seeing all this bullshit the entire season, because there's going to be a payoff at the end, but there's not a payoff for either one actually.
And I guess we can cut straight to the end, but I didn't even like the payoff that he let John Pilgrim survive.
It's anti-Punisher.
It was very anti-Punisher. Even if he had kids, the real Punisher would have fucking put two to the back of the head and called it a day.
Nothing.
Oh, you got kids? The kids are better off without you, you piece of shit. That's it.
Well, and the way I saw it is essentially because he had kids, right? The whole reason why Pilgrim was doing this was for his kids, was for his wife. There's no other reason other than that. Like the only reason why he was involved in all this was because he was getting money, and essentially this family was helping his family out with the cancer and all that shit. So that's why he was doing all this work. I don't think he was doing it because he wanted to. I think he was doing it because he needed to for his family. And I guess Punisher saw that. I'm like, oh, you were also being manipulated by this fucking rich ass family. Because in the end, they go together to kill this family. It's not like Punisher went by himself. Like he went with John. I mean, he went with Pilgrim, and like they killed off this family together to be like, let's get the fuck out of this terrible toxic shit that's happening. And I think that's the reason why he saved them, because he saw that there was more to it than just him being a fucking doing it for his own things, his own personal things. So that's why I feel that he let him go, because his family, all this, and on top of that, the kids were also being manipulated by the rich family. So it's like, you know what? Like the kids, if I kill you too, these kids are orphans. That's it. They're straight up orphans. And that thing that's a terrible, worse life to live than being with somebody who actually loves you, or essentially.
I still think that's Disney Punisher right there.
Yeah, I mean, I completely understand why I understand that reasoning that, and like the Punisher saw a little bit of himself in Pilgrim and all that. But at the end of the day, the Punisher doesn't care about any of that bullshit. You're a criminal at this point. You die.
Yeah, you killed innocent kids. All they did was take photographs. Like
it's not even like he was just a regular guy. Like this was a hitman at this point.
Yeah.
There's no way Frank Castle should have let that guy go.
Yeah, just to give you like perspective, there was a comic. It was like a Christmas special where this mafia boss wife that's did a bunch of killing in the comic. She's pregnant. She's giving birth, and then Punisher's about to kill her, and he's like, "Oh wait, you're about to give birth." And then he fucking delivers the baby, and he's holding the baby, and she's like, "Oh, give my baby back," and he fucking shoots her brains out, and he keeps the baby.
See? That's the Punisher I know and love.
I'm like, bam, there you go. So
no mercy.
yeah, real Punisher would have killed the shit out of John Pilgrim.
And I think that's how the show ends, though. Essentially, him actually being Punisher.
Yeah,
Like from that moment on, I feel like that's him being I'm Punisher, and I'm fucking accepting this full through.
right.
At the end, when he slaughtered those people at the end, those were kids, right? They look like teens.
Those like gangbangers, teenagers.
Jeez, I thought that was a little excessive to the show on Netflix. I was like, fuck, he's just mowing these kids
Oh
down.
yeah, yeah.
That's
where
what I'm
he
saying.
goes.
He admitted his fate.
No, you know what he ended it on? He ended it on a.
He did. I'm like, these kids deserve that? They got a future. You let Pilgrim go, but
Exactly.
these kids
Exactly.
don't get any mercy? Nah, that's fucked up.
But that's what I mean by like he finally accepts his fate at the end. Like I am the Punisher now. Like nothing is gonna stop me from this moment
Yeah.
forward.
If he was gonna slaughter those kids, like you said, Pilgrim had to go.
Yeah, man, there's no way. Those kids deserve to die, and Pilgrim should. Pilgrim
Yeah.
was killed kids their age.
Yes, exactly. Well, just to rewind all the way to the beginning, I thought that the way they started this season was fucking awesome.
So that first episode was
Yo,
amazing.
the way it ended, the bathroom fight, and then the fight in the bar, everyone was in on it. Even the bouncer got some
I
hits
felt so
in.
bad for that bouncer,
I
man.
know,
He
that bouncer
deserved
got,
that shit, man.
Yo, he got fucked up. He was,
yeah,
he was
he was
bullet
getting
dancing.
stabbed left and right.
But
And then he got shot. Yeah.
Yeah. But he had some good hits. Like he threw a guy into the bar and everything. I'm like, man, this is fucking awesome. And yeah, when I saw that, I'm like, what is this John Wick choreography going on? Like
That shit was just from the beginning of the when he went to protect the girl in the stall, it just felt it felt really good.
yeah, I was like, this show's going off to a fucking great start. And then you had kind of like that, what was that, Assault on Precinct 13 vibe
That was
going on.
another great action scene.
I
yeah.
really liked it too, and they were giving all these side characters, like the sheriff and everything, some good shit. And I was like, oh, I like this.
What I didn't like is how long that girl took to tell him the whole fucking story of what's going on with her. I'm like, oh my god, it's
but
just
the main
so
reason
much.
that could have been fixed if they would have just ended that whole plot line in the
Yeah.
first half, and then he gets picked up by Madani for the Billy storyline, and then there you go.
I mean, I understood it because the angry teenager with the secret is never gonna tell the hero what he needs to know until like the last fucking
Yeah.
the last minute for whatever reason. It's a common like trope in superhero shows or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I found so annoying. I'm just like, dude, just fucking. He saved your life over and over again, and you're still scared of him. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Like he's literally stopping people from killing you. He's going out of his way to save your life,
Rough
and you're
road.
still fucking like scared to tell him the reason why you're in this shit. Like, get the hell out of here,
I
dude.
don't know if you know. He's a pretty terrifying guy, man. He's not like the cuddliest guy for her to open up to.
I know, dude, but he saved your life so many times, and it's not like he purposely got himself in that type of position. It's like he went out of his way to protect this girl. He's going out of his way to do all this shit for you, and yet you don't give him the courtesy of telling him why the fuck you're in this situation?
Armando.
Because she's trying to get out, and he's still trying to be like, no, we got to kill everybody. And she's like, I want to go home.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
nah, they got to die.
She's like, my friends are dead. I can move on with my life. And he's like,
You want to run forever? No. Yes, I want to run forever. What are you
Yes.
talking about? Let me get out of here.
it makes perfect sense why she wouldn't want to say shit. She doesn't want to be in that shit anymore.
Yeah, and he's vengeance or nothing. He
Yeah.
only sees one way out.
Stop being a pussy. So
Yeah, he's trying to turn her into a bro, and she wasn't having it.
what did you guys feel about, how'd you guys feel about the Shrink character with Billy?
She's another common, person that they're not really going to explain why she's the evil mastermind behind
Yeah.
Billy, but she falls in love with. I don't know.
So I wasn't. I'm not on her side, but I understood her character up until the point where she choreographed the fucking murder of those dancers.
That seems a little excessive for
That
who they
was-
portrayed her to be.
That was the part where I went, oh hell no! Now this ain't just therapy anymore. Before
Yeah.
that, to me, it was still therapy. A little
I
crazy.
thought what I was thinking was happening was that he took an idea that he gave her and pushed it to the limit.
That's what I thought too.
But for her to be in on the murder, oh, now I'm a little confused as to what this doctor's
Yeah, he's
doing.
like, I killed those girls to save you. What? Nah, dude,
But-
you lost me.
That part was pretty obvious though, right? Like when Frank shot up that room. I thought I was like, damn, that doesn't seem believable. Frank, you believe this shit?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, the whole time I was thinking, I was like, yeah, obviously it would be cool if they went that route, but I knew they wouldn't.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping they did go that route, that he
Yeah.
did actually kill those girls.
Because I'm like, that's
But
a pretty
why?
good. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, but why would you like for that plotline to have happened? That
Because-
he actually killed those girls.
I've been reading Punisher comics for a decent amount of time, and that's never really happened. He's never really killed innocents. They always show that he has
Exactly.
this sixth sense, perfect accuracy where he never misses. And when he misses, he missed on purpose, like to save somebody. And I'm always like, realistically speaking, he would have shot an innocent person by now.
Yeah.
That
It's-
movie, Punisher Warzone, the one that nobody really remembers, the one that came after the
Or
Thomas
watched,
Jane.
'cause I didn't watch it.
Yeah. He actually kills an undercover cop by accident because he thinks it was one of the gangbangers. So that was one of his things. He had to deal with that. But I mean, that movie wasn't.
It's like a crisis of conscience. It's a more believable conflict than it just being obviously Billy, and he 2 seconds later he's like, fuck it, I didn't do anything, I'm cool.
Yeah.
It's like he at this point he didn't even learn the lesson that he really should have learned, that anybody could get hurt from what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah. So I thought that was an interesting route that they could have took it at,
Yeah.
but they just kind of like tickled it and then went, JK, he's a good guy.
All right, and then it was just like, oh, it wasn't me. Where's Billy? Let me find this nigga.
Yeah.
What? Okay, I guess.
Yeah. I even kind of liked how he pulled the arm out to like get the IV in so he could die. Like, fuck it, just kill me now. Yeah.
Oh, when he was ready to give himself up to yeah.
Yeah.
See,
To the
that should
cop.
make more sense.
So, but yeah, a lot of good ideas, but just a lot of the execution could have been better.
Oh, for sure. Hell yeah.
That was my problem really with the whole season. Just the execution of everything. Like nothing went the way I felt like it should have.
I almost felt like it was multiple writers all had their idea and they're like, yo, but we only got one more season left. Let's be real. And they're like, all right, fuck it. Let's just
Wrap
put it
this
all
up.
in it.
I don't know. Even Billy, I wanted them to have like a last shootout or something. Him and Billy. I didn't like Madani killing Billy.
Well, sure, technically.
Technically.
I mean, okay, she didn't kill Billy, but she killed Billy.
Yeah. I actually was telling Armando that I would have preferred that while Punisher was having his final fight with John Pilgrim, Madani was having the fight with Jigsaw, and then she actually kills him. I wouldn't have minded that because she was just as much his
Enemy.
enemy.
Yeah.
Wait, he was her arch nemesis
Yeah,
as much
just
as it
was-
was
yeah.
Billy because of all the shit that happened in season 1. Like he killed her partner. Like there's a lot of like emotion invested in it. Shot her in the head. She didn't get a chance to get her vengeance.
I
so
mean, it makes sense. Yeah.
so plot wise, it would have made more sense if she would have done the final blow. But her getting him to that point is
Wasn't
good
believable.
enough.
I would have liked that if she would have actually died when Billy.
They kill
I killed her.
themselves.
Yeah. Because that scene, I was like, oh shit, she's dead. Whoa.
Would
And
you
then
have been would you have been cool if they killed each other then?
Yeah, I wouldn't care.
Oh,
Honestly,
okay.
as long as a combination
As long
of
as she
them
died.
dying, like, because the thing is, her dying was I think would have been a very powerful scene in a sense of like she spent all this time like hating herself and hating everything that's happened to her, and like she finally gets to this point where she's almost gonna kill him or about to kill him, and she ends up dying her own self. I think that would have been very like fucking tragic in a sense. But then she survived, and I was just kind of at that. I felt cheapened by the whole thing.
Yeah, but she did grow as a character because she quit.
So she's still in the CIA now.
Right.
like what is not nothing changed in her life. She
Yeah,
just
that's
went to
kinda
a
true.
different kind of profession.
That's true. She's actually in a place where she could be more crooked.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn, you're kind of right. I didn't think of it that way. Like she even wanted to get Punisher at the end. That was
yeah,
a true
so
ending.
like I needed an operative who could fucking kill people secretly.
I really liked the way he did the finishing blow on Jigsaw Punisher because it reminded me a lot of like Road to Perdition, where it's like all that setup. You're like, damn, he's gonna like make him suffer. Nah, dude, just pop, pop. That's
Yeah,
it.
he didn't have time for the bullshit. See?
And that was the most Punisher thing in the whole fucking show was the fact that he just went up, didn't even let him finish his sentence, and
Yeah.
just poop poop, and then walked away. That's
I'm
it.
glad it was. Nah, I don't have time to talk.
I'm glad. Boom, boom. That's it. I was like that. That's Punisher right there.
I mean, overall, I did like Billy more in this season though. I think, especially when he had on the mask and shit, he was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that. That's what I'm saying. I wish they would have done more with that.
Yeah. And just him getting the squad and kind of manipulating all the vets like at the bar.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
it's
he
like
was
damn,
really good this season.
because you actually get to see what made him scary in a way. Like
Yeah.
what made him not even scary, but like a threat.
Even the episode, even though I guess you didn't like it since it took so long in the season, but like the episode where he finds out what happened, that when he finds out that Frank is the skull that has been terrorizing
Oh
him
yeah,
or whatever.
the heat ripoff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. But it was still a really good fucking scene. It was,
Yeah.
That part, I really like that.
Yeah, I liked it too.
Yeah, I just again they took too long for that point, but I really enjoyed that when he was with his military friends, how he was coercing them to live this life. But honestly, if you think about it, it's so true. Like a person who goes to the military, does their terms and all that shit. They're super trained in all this, and after that, they're done. Like they have all this skill that's being completely wasted. And like Benny's like,
Flipping
what?
burgers.
And
Or-
Benny's like, you know what, man? Fuck that, dude. We could own this city. We could own everything. We could be rich as fuck with the skills we have, and no one can touch us because we are so highly trained. And I think, and it's essentially what he did in season 1 with his company of mercenaries, because that's what he did for the.
but that
vets.
was legit.
Yeah, it was legit. But like, it's still the same kind of premise of like.
Yeah, that was pretty much showing that he was going back to his old self because he was
Yeah.
essentially doing the same job.
And he's so charismatic and he convinces people so easily, and I love seeing that, and I wish they would have kept going with that and maybe manipulated the gangs in the city or some shit like that, like I wish they would have I wish he would have dug more deeper into the Jigsaw persona, been in an infamous like this Jigsaw, who the fuck is Jigsaw, I think that would have been a cool way to do it.
Yeah, him finding true love with the psychiatrist, I wasn't really feeling that.
I wasn't feeling
I would have preferred if it was one way. Like she was all about it and he wasn't. He was just using her to kind of like, hey,
That would've been
a
better.
place to stay, which
But-
is what I thought it was.
but
But,
it could be a rethread of the Madani thing too, and maybe they didn't want to do that.
that
That's
is.
the exact same thing. That sure wouldn't have been good.
I didn't
makes
think of that. Good point. Touche.
Yeah, so overall, like I just wish there was more of that mercenary stuff. I really like that, you know. But other than that, like, did you guys enjoy the girl, the sidekick?
I did. Mike said he wasn't feeling it. But
I wasn't. I mean, cause she's like the same. I've seen that character 1,000 times.
it is generic.
She gets better towards the end of the season. I'll give her that. She does get a lot easier to bear, but in the beginning, she was annoying.
Yeah, but overall, the season was missing Micro or someone as good,
that's the
as,
thing.
as
That's
likable.
That's his new buddy, but their buddy relationship is nothing compared to his relationship with Michael. Him
Yeah.
and Michael, like, you really felt their bond. Towards the end of the season, I felt the bond between Frank and the girl, but it still doesn't compare.
Yeah. It
was more father-daughter.
That love hate from Micro was unbeatable.
Right?
Like the love hate here isn't really.
Because it's more of a rebel. Like,
it was also more of him with like a daughter.
yeah, it was a father-daughter, and she was more being of a rebel more than hate. I don't think it was really hate in a sense.
Yeah.
It was more like, I'm being a rebel because I'm being a teenager, and fuck you, I could do things, and you don't
And
believe in
him-
me.
Yeah, and him showing how shitty his parenting skills were.
Essentially.
Like, dude, he put a gun to her fucking face because she threw a tennis ball at him.
That shit was crazy, though.
Like, I was like, and then he goes "Ugh," right in her face. I'm
and
like,
you don't understand why she didn't trust this nigga.
yeah, exactly.
He's trying to teach you a life lesson of survival, man.
Why don't you tell me your secrets? Like, well, you see, you're a fucking psycho.
There's no way. Nah, man. That dude was crazy.
Yeah. But overall, season was great. Definitely watchable. Definitely should be watched. It did get better. It did make things better in certain parts. But other things, I felt like it could have. This season could have been, for everything they did. Like me and Pedro discussed before. If it was gonna follow all this plot lines, it should have definitely been shorter. It was maybe an episode or two too long for me. If it would have been shorter, tighter, maybe like the Iron Fist season, that was only 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Iron Fist flowed so well. It was fast. There was no lingering or extending stupid plot lines, and like that's the curse of this.
I thought that's what they were doing after the Iron Fist, but then Daredevil was 13 episodes. This was 13. I was a little confused because I thought they were now shortening. Because I think they even did a release talking about they had to do the first couple of seasons for those shows, 13 episodes because of the deal they had signed or whatever. So I thought with this one it'd be shorter and more concise, but it still didn't go that route.
They should have, but it is what it is, man.
Overall, good stuff.
Definitely. I mean, even though I like the first season better, I think overall, since this is the last we're ever going to see, they did an overall good job of wrapping up the entire series as a whole.
Yeah, definitely. There were no lingering threads, which is what I was worried about. I was like, man, if they leave some shit for season 3, it's never going to fucking happen. I'll be pissed.
Right? If like Jigsaw wakes up at the end of the fucking thing again, fuck the shit.
Yeah.
I think that's why that ending felt kind of tacked on in a sense.
This one?
Yeah, because if you think about it, it was Madonna, hey, what's going on, dude? Like, you should join me over here, whatever. And then Punisher goes out to do his thing. He's like, Punisher. And that ends like that. So I feel like, I think that was kind of tacked on when they knew that shit was not going to happen anymore.
I think it's like that for the entire season, though. I think at some point, like while they were maybe writing or filming, they realized that, oh shit, this is not going to go on forever. So we have to now finish everything in this entire season.
You're probably right. I think around that time when they were still filming is when they heard about the Daredevil season 3. And they said, yo, if they got rid of Daredevil, they're getting rid of us.
Yeah. So they tried to wrap
you disagree?
everything up.
I think Daredevil got canceled like a month before this show came out. So I think it was probably when the cancellation of Luke Cage that something went wrong. I think they were still filming when Luke Cage got canceled.
Either I'm sure. Well, just the way everything. It seems like while they still had everything coming together, they realized, oh, this is not going to last. So we got to figure out how to wrap everything up quickly and as quietly as possible.
Yeah, the writing was definitely on the wall. It was obvious. We all knew it was coming. That's why when this announcement came saying that, yeah, this one's done. And by the way, that new season of Jessica Jones, when that's over, it's done too. We all knew.
Yeah, I wasn't looking forward to it, but
yeah.
So yeah, Daredevil was canceled November 29.
So there you go. They must have been finishing some shit still.
Yeah. Like they knew the show was going to be over.
And Luke Cage was canceled October 19.
So you see?
A full month before.
So they were... Yeah, man. These are just dying out back to back.
Yeah, it sucks though.
But
because, I mean, Punisher was such a good show. I feel like they still had a lot more they could have done with the Punisher. Especially if they let Billy like become, I guess, the main villain. Kind of how Kingpin was the Daredevil. I think they could have done a lot more with Billy being his villain.
Mm-hmm. But
that shit was over with.
That's a wrap. That is our review of
Punisher finished filming August 11, 2018.
So well, then there you go. They from the get-go, they just wanted your tacked-on ending.
All right, guys. That's it, I guess. Hope you enjoyed this review of Punisher Season 2. Go watch it. You're going to enjoy it. It was a good ride while it lasted. You got to see at least John Bernthal be fucking Punisher. Like that makes everything on the show for sure. Follow us on all social media platforms. We're on Instagram and Facebook. We're posting now. Send us some stuff you want us to review. Send us some topics you want us to talk about. We will get into that. Till next time, everyone.
Outro.
Bye-bye.